Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli back with another review video, and yes, you read the title of what I'm reviewing, because of course continuing on reviewing the rest of the, Marvel films, and, Marvel's outside the MCU, like not part of the MCU, you get the idea. That's right, and I was this close to, missing out on reviewing these films, because there have been two, and of course I'm reviewing the first one that came out in 2004, and that being, of course, The Punisher. Yeah, so I almost forgot about these films. Like, I think these are underrated Marvel films, and, because, I mean, this is The Punisher we're talking about, The Punisher, we all know that he's had his series that was first on Netflix, and, The Punisher being part of the MCU, you get the idea. So, The Punisher movie, from 2004, because the story, of course. This dark action film, based on the comic book series, follows FBI agent Frank Castle, played by Thomas Jane, as he transforms into the vengeful Punisher after criminals murder his family, including his wife and son. Yeah, that scene. Castle is gravely injured in the attack and believed to be dead by Howard Saint, played by John Travolta. The crime lord who ordered the hit, following his recovery, Castle becomes a heavily armed vigilante who will stop at nothing to exact revenge on Saint and dismantle his underworld empire. So, yeah, honestly, I thought that this movie was okay. Like, I actually was kind of enjoying this film, and I was getting into some of the stuff, Yeah, and of course, that's another thing, too, because you know what? Frank Castle, he seemed like a great person, like a good man, and, he was, an FBI agent, and not to mention that, of course, he, was a family man, and, he had a, he had a great wife, and he had a son, and, and his parents, and not to mention, because, you know what? It's amazing that Roy Scheider was in this, and you know what? Because yeah, my dad corrected me on this. His last name is pronounced Scheider, not Schneider. So the late Roy Scheider, best known for being, in Jaws, Chief Brody, because he was Frank Castle's father. And at one point, because Frank Castle being an FBI, on a mission, and being an FBI agent, he accidentally kills he kills one of Howard Saint's sons. And that's because, Howard Saint, and especially from his wife, Levi, I want to say, yeah. She's the one that requests, Frank Castle's family be killed, and yeah. That was an intense scene, because Frank and his family, they're on vacation at a beach, and out of nowhere, gunmen come in and they start killing his family. And even when, say, his wife, Maria Castle, played by Samantha Mathis, her and, and their son, they're her and the son, they're escaping, and, they're in a truck, and, they drive away, and that's when, they get out, their car crashes. I think, no, it was not a truck, it was just a car. It flipped over, and, of course, they are injured, but they escape, and they get to this dock, trying to take, using Roy Scheider's, boat, and they get run over. They get freaking run over. And, of course, Frank Castle, just distraught by the death of his wife and son, and of course the bad guys, they beat him up, and they try to kill him by setting off explosions, fuel gas or oil gas. You get my point, and yeah, he is injured and he is believed to be dead, but he does survive, and he's helped by somebody, and that's when he changes. He becomes a completely different man, and that's when he becomes the Punisher, of course. Some of the other, cast of characters, Eddie Jemison, he was Mickey Duca. Also, oh gosh, where were they? I hate it when they don't, okay, I'm checking IMDb, nothing there. Here we go. Yeah. So, Rebecca Romay, she plays Joanne, because, yeah, Punisher, he moves into, like, this, like crappy apartment building, whatever, and meets, like, who would become, like, family to him, I guess. They become, like, family. Joanne, played by Rebecca Romaine, and Ben Foster, he plays Spectre Dave, and Nathaniel, he's played by John Pennant. I think I said that right, yeah. And, you know what, because they become close to him, and, they help out him a couple of times. Like, and especially because for John Travolta and his family, because, yeah, like, they're evil, of course, and, it's hard to believe, because, you know what, I was like, oh my gosh, like, Howard suspects that his wife, Levi, I think that's how you say that name, who's played by Laura Herring, he suspects that she's cheating on him with his best friend. But it turns out, and I'll go ahead and say this, it turns out that Punisher made him think that. That was all, of course, it was not true. Punisher made Howard kill his own wife and kill his own best friend, and which, according to his wife, she told him that his best friend is gay, and Howard, like, thinking that she was cheating on him, like, because at the movies and stuff like that, and even slapping her in the face, and he shot his best friend to death, and you know what? Because you could see in the look in their faces, because they don't know what's wrong with him, like, because they're trying to tell him that's not true, and why are you doing this, blah blah blah, because. Well, John, like, okay, Howard stabbed his best friend, and and then for his wife, like, he slapped her and took her into his limo. I said limbo, and basically, like, dragged her, like, to the bridge, and, like, he did kiss her, and then he threw her off, and, like, she fell down the train tracks. Well, you thought that would kind of kill her, I guess, because of how tall, like, the fall was, the fall and so on. You get my point. Well, no, she is alive, but I saw it coming. Like, well, she's killed by the incoming train, and yep. And again, as I said, the Punisher, aka Frank Castle, he basically set that whole thing up. He made Howard believe that, that she was cheating on him, etc. And, yeah. Also, because, like, one scene that I recall, like, there's this, like, it's literally his character's name, how he's credited, Russian, he's played by Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash plays this Russian, who comes in, out of nowhere he's got this, like, brightly, like, the shirt that's, like, white and red stripes, and, he attacks Punisher while, like, opera music plays, Wonderful London, that song, and, and I believe that it kind of takes place, around, like, say, Thanksgiving, I guess, because, Joanne, Dave, and Nathaniel, they invited Punisher over to join them for dinner, and they're thankful for what's been going on, and they're talking about what they're thankful for, and later on, because Punisher gets attacked, as I said, by this Russian guy, and he even say, well, okay, Joanne, Dave, and Nathaniel, they're playing that song, and Nathaniel and Dave, they're kind of dancing around, and of course, I was, like, wondering, are they going to see what's happening with Punisher? And, of course, they do, when they, like, kind of break the door and so on. And, Punisher finally defeats the Russian guy. Howard's henchmen come in, and they basically kind of, like, torture one of the two guys, which is Dave. And he has, like, those piercings on his lips, but, like, God, like, that one guy just, like, taking it off and torturing him. And even when Dave would refuse to talk about, the whereabouts of Punisher and so on. And, why he didn't tell them is because, well, you know, Punisher's like family to them, I guess you could say. Yeah, so there's that. And, of course, you know, like, the climax and the defeat of, you know, Howard's, you know, empire, and his defeat, because, you know, he basically, like, Punisher does injure Howard, and he drags him by tying him to a car and setting off explosions. And of course, I was like, is he gonna die? Like, because he's being dragged and there's fire and explosions everywhere. And of course he does. Like, he's burned, and you know, that's when another explosion sets off. And that one camera shot, because, like, down below we see all the cars and we see the Punisher logo. That's a cool shot. And you know, the epilogue, it's nice, and, you know, basically, as I recall, yeah, because Punisher left Joanne, Dave, and Nathaniel, you know, money that was at, you know, the Howard Saints building. You know, he gave them the money, and one last shot of the Punisher at a bridge, and he gives, like, you know, a speech, you know, ending dialogue of the film, and yeah, and the movie ends. I gotta say that the Punisher, I thought it was not that bad. Like, so I think there were some pretty emotional, intense scenes. I think that this was an okay Marvel film, and again, I believe that this is underrated. I don't see why it wouldn't be. And what about you guys? Have you ever seen Punisher, and what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review a like as always. And how do I rate the Punisher? That's a good question. Well, I mean, I know I can't say it's, like, amazing or good. I thought it was okay. I liked it. I enjoyed it. So I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. I'm giving this, yeah, 7 out of 10 stars. Again, I thought it was great. You heard what I said. So again, 7 out of 10 stars for The Punisher. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of The Punisher. More reviews coming your way. They're gonna be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And stay tuned later this week, where we will be going back, of course, to the MCU, but this time, new faces come into the MCU. Guardians that are in space. You know what I'm talking about. Stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out.